Hello, Misfits. This is Kate.
And this is Kevin.
Welcome to Horrorwood. How's everybody doing? How are you doing, Kevin?
I don't know.
You're in kind of a whirlwind of travel right now.
I am. I was just in West Virginia. I saw my
Which
dad.
looked beautiful.
It was gorgeous. I always forget how beautiful that state is.
Yeah. I've never been.
I mean, the place I was my husband. Ew. What is that?
I don't know.
My dad's wife is what I was trying to say. Took my dad and I to Hawk's Nest National Park. And that was that pretty thing, the picture I put up. And apparently you can take a train along the river in the fall. And go through the mountains. I want to do it.
That's cool.
I want to go back and do that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, it was a good trip. I really enjoyed it. It was actually nice. I had a great time.
Oh, good.
I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, I'm
have a good.
So
do you know what I mean?
Glad. Yes.
So it was good. My dad isn't doing great, but it was good to see him, and yeah, his wife Linda is really sweet and really nice. And it was great. It was a nice trip.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm off to Minneapolis on Tuesday for work.
I like Minneapolis a lot.
I've never been.
I like it. It's a good city.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to go. So yeah, I'm just in an in-between of being in the city and trying to get my shit together.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here today.
Oh my God, thank you.
And another thank you to our two new Patronians. We have two new Misfit Murderinos.
Misfits.
Charity Dunn, you're number one. Let's have some fun. That's all I got.
And we're all going to go eat a bun.
And our next one
Don't run.
Walk quickly.
Walk accordingly.
And our next one is Karen Krantz. Karen Krantz, you make me want to dance.
Oh my God. Karen. And she's a good Karen. Not all of these other horrible.
No.
She gives power and beauty to the name Karen.
I feel the same about Karen.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much. And if you saw our social media, maybe you saw that we're nominated for another award. This is for the Minnesota Web Fest. It's going to be at the North Star Story Summit in the fall, so that's exciting.
What city? Duluth?
Duluth.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I have a story for you today. It's a sad one, as most of ours are.
I was going to say, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's kind of what we do here. Today we're talking about the deaths of Grace McHugh, Owen Carter, and a pony.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I love that I'm more upset about the pony than the other two.
We're gonna get to it. The pony was actually a separate accident, but on the same film.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, you told me what you were gonna do. Mm-hmm. Now I'm remembering.
Yep.
Got you.
Their deaths occurred on the set of a film from the way back when days. It's a silent film, a Western, called Across the Border, made in the summer of 1914. What's interesting to me is, according to reports, the deaths of Grace and Owen were the first human deaths to occur on set.
Really? These are the first on-set deaths?
And yet I'd never heard of them.
Wow.
I will say it's hard to verify if they were actually the first, because this is more than 100 years ago when record keeping wasn't at its finest.
Well, and then everything catches on fire after that. It's it's gone.
It all goes downhill. And in the early days of cinema, actors often weren't even credited for their work on film. So if a tragedy did occur, we wouldn't necessarily know the name of those involved. But even if Grace McHugh and Owen Carter weren't the first to lose their lives on a set, they were certainly among the first. The motion picture industry was seeing huge growth in the early 1900s. France was already making strides in the world of film, with Paris considered to be the birthplace of cinema. I know. Just another reason for you to hate it.
Sorry, I don't think so. I don't think so, bitch. Take that title down and shut your French mouth.
Kevin has real strong feelings about Paris.
We all know this, and I'm like a broken fucking record, but like,
I knew that was going to get a reaction out of you. I was waiting for
it. The rage. Let me take a drink of coffee.
You do it.
It's a Sunday morning.
In America, Thomas Edison was up in New Jersey promoting his new invention, the kinetoscope, which was basically a box with a peephole in it that a person could look through and watch moving pictures. Only one person at a time could look through it.
Is that like that little thing you had as a kid where you put the things
like the kaleidoscope?
And click?
Is that what it was called? That's not what it's called. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Something-matic, something-o-matic.
Yeah. Because kaleidoscope is like the thing that moved the moving colors.
It was
like
I remember the viewfinder or something. Yeah, I liked that a lot.
I know, I missed those, and you got the little round discs of pics.
Paris had the first cinema in 1895 where audiences could sit together and watch the film on screen. So Edison sees that moving pictures are becoming a thing. He was like, people are into this. They're going to start wanting to make their own films. And he said, I can't have that. I want to be the only one in the country doing this. Everyone will have to rely on me. I'm going to dominate this industry.
Edison, girl, let other people have some fun.
He starts slapping patents on all the camera equipment he created. But throughout America, more and more people began experimenting with making their own films using their own camera equipment. And Edison said, damn. He said, well, I'm going to build a studio, and I'll have performers come and do their acts on camera. Soon, other people had the same idea, and studios began popping up throughout the country.
Wow.
And one of these studios was the Selig Polyscope Company in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh!
The Selig Polyscope Company was founded by William Selig in the late 1800s. It was actually a big movie studio here that took up the block bordered by Irving Park, Western, Byron, and Claremont. That entire section
block?
was...
That's where it was?
This big movie studio, yeah. It was huge.
There
was a lake in the middle of it. They had Western sets. They shot a bunch of Westerns there.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was like a big deal. I found a list of instructions that were given to actors employed to work at the Selig Company. So imagine you're an actor, you've done some theater, you've decided to give this new motion picture thing a go, but you don't know how to act on camera. It's never been done before. Not to worry, the Selig Polyscope Company is here to help. And I'm just going to read a couple of their instructions to actors.
On how to act?
Mm-hmm. Reading a letter. When a lady receives a letter from her sweetheart or husband, she must not show her joy by kissing it. That is overdone and has become so common by usage in pictures and on the stage as to be tiresome. Struggling. Avoid unnecessary struggling and body contortions, that's just good life advice. Here's a good one. Sleeves. Avoid playing too many parts with your sleeves rolled up. Cowboys and miners use the sleeves of their shirts for what they were intended. If you're playing tennis or courting a girl at the seaside, you may display your manly beauty to your heart's content.
What? What the fuck are these instructions?
Just, how to act.
Of the time. Ew, it's so rigid.
So no need to worry about acting on camera. Selig has everything you need to know.
You. They're like, tone it down. And stop kissing letters.
There was one that I don't think I wrote it down in here, but there's one that was like, when the director calls action, don't look at the camera to see if it's going. That'll be taken care of. Like, we're talking the infancy of cinema.
Don't look into the camera.
The problem Selig and other studios faced, however, was old Thomas Edison up there in West Orange, New Jersey. Anytime he got word that another studio was making films or attempting to use equipment he invented, he'd send his lawyers to be like, not so fast. Some studio heads, Selig included, decided if you can't beat them, join them.
Okay.
So they partnered up with Edison, but eventually the Supreme Court was like, yeah, you can't do that. You can't just monopolize the entire motion picture industry. Studios and particularly independent filmmakers were getting tired of dealing with the constant legal disputes set forth by Edison because he was ruthless. He would even sometimes hire mobsters to pay a little visit to any filmmaker violating one of his precious patents. So he was just like, hey, I don't like that they're making a movie over there because I want to be the one making movies. So can you just go beat him up for me for a second?
What a bitch.
Yeah, he was kind of a little bitch.
Girl.
Yeah.
I liked you. You and gave us some good stuff.
He gave us great stuff, but like he was kind of a bitch about it.
Did he do the light bulb?
Yeah.
Okay. I just had to verify and check.
No problem. Yep.
Because we had a lot of these old inventor bitches, these old white guys playing around with shit in the storms.
That was amazing. In the storms. That was amazing. So filmmakers began to migrate west to get as far away from Edison as they possibly could.
To California.
The furthest away you could get. That is kind of how California became the mecca for motion pictures.
That's amazing.
It was all because they wanted to
get
rid
away
of
from Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa.
Mind blown.
Mind blown. And then further from that, you have that fault line, and it's breaking off into the sea. So it's going to go even further.
Exciting times.
When Hollywood becomes an island.
So once they arrived in Southern California, they realized the weather was way better for filming, and there was such a variety in terrain, so it could be used for a lot of different types of scenes. And in that move west, production companies passed through Colorado and said, this is a great area for making westerns. You've got mountain views, you've got river access, a good climate, and all the cowboys you could ask for. I thought you were going to have a cowboy joke.
I spaced out. Oh, yeah. I love a cowboy. Give me, let's wrangle me.
That's good.
Pew, pew.
That's how they did it. Pew, pew.
Eating beans around the fire. Is that what cowboys do?
Yep. In my mind. To give credit where credit is due, Edison had already sent one of his employees out to Colorado to shoot some Western scenes. And we're talking like scenes that are maybe 1 to 2 minutes long.
Sure.
Maybe less than that. So he was already aware of the value that Colorado has to offer. And it was in Colorado that the Selig Company set up shop. Canon City, Colorado, to be specific, situated along the Arkansas River.
Okay.
But of course, it gets cold in Colorado in the winter. It snows, so filming typically took place late spring to early fall. And in order to keep up with the demand for new films and the limited amount of time they could shoot outdoors due to the weather, the studio had to work fast.
Whoa.
They were cranking out a couple of films a week, and these were typically 1 or 2 reels, each about 15 minutes long. And these were silent films, so it's not like they had to memorize lines, but even so, shooting 2 films a week, it feels fast.
That's a lot.
What was great is that the studio was able to hire local residents as extras, so people were able to make a little extra cash. Plus, since these films were Westerns, they needed a lot of horses and other animals, and ranch owners were more than happy to rent out their livestock to the production. So the town loved it. It was a real boost to the economy. Everyone's making a little money. But because of the fast pace and the fact that film production was so new, studios weren't really thinking about safety so much. They were just going for it. This is before the Screen Actors Guild, before stunt performers, before the idea of using props as weapons before the idea of using prop weapons instead of real weapons was even a consideration.
I mean, props as weapons is amazing as well.
So accidents occurred all the time.
Nothing's regulated. Everybody's just throwing shit.
They truly are. Myrtle Stedman, who was a lead actress for the Selig Company, was thrown off a horse and landed on some rocks, knocking her unconscious.
Jesus
and
Christ.
She was like a big deal. And so this is happening to like their main leads that, you know, they're just like risking their lives to make these films. Actor Rex Roselli was shooting a fight scene in which real knives were used, and he got stabbed in the leg. And William Duncan, who was one of the highest paid stars of the time, was shot by an actor who forgot his cue and fired his gun early. They all survived, but it just goes to show that making a film was dangerous work.
Yeah.
During their 2nd or 3rd year in Canon City, as the filming season was winding down, the Selig Company moved on to Arizona because it was getting cold in Colorado, but in Arizona,
Heat.
They can have a little extra production time. From Arizona, they eventually set up shop in Los Angeles. And once there, they were like, yeah, we're not going to go back to Colorado. We have everything we need here. The weather is exactly what we need to shoot year-round. We're here to stay.
Cool.
But not everyone was ready to abandon Colorado.
Yeah.
Otis B. Thayer, who had acted with the Selleck Company, had begun dabbling in directing for other companies. Until finally he was like, why am I working for these other companies? I'll just start my own. So in December of 1913, he officially formed the Colorado Motion Picture Company, setting up headquarters in Canon City. He was like, Colorado, I can't quit you. I'm here to stay.
He's obsessed with
Colorado. He loved himself.
He loved Colorado. Have you been to Colorado, Kate?
I haven't.
Really?
I know. And people say it's just gorgeous.
It is beautiful. I've been to Denver.
Okay.
It was okay. I mean, it's cool to see the Rockies around.
I've flown over Colorado.
Oh, that counts. It's like when people have you been to Canada? It's like, I've been to the Toronto airport.
Oh.
That's Canada.
It is.
Canada.
I've never even been there.
Kate and I are going to run to the border and run back.
Just real quick.
Just to say we've been there.
Because of how quickly the industry was growing, there was a lot of pressure to execute films quickly and in abundance. Films were also getting longer. It wasn't just 1 or 2 reels anymore. 3-reel features were becoming popular. In a silent film, I think I've said this. I might repeat myself a few times because the way I kind of wrote this backwards as I was doing it. So, like I said before, in a silent film, 1 reel is about 15 minutes long. So for a 3-reel, that's like a 45-minute movie. And they were making one of these every 3 weeks, in addition to 2-reelers. So they're just going nonstop. Thayer and his company started cranking these suckers out. His first picture was released in March of that year, and by June, he'd already shot several films, just in a matter of a month's time. When you think today and it takes months to shoot a movie, for one movie.
One movie, yeah.
And back then, it was just boom, boom, boom. Every week, multiple times a week, they're releasing new films.
I feel like this is where the Hallmark Channel got their model.
I think you're
Christmas
right.
Movies.
Because they crank those suckers
They crank
out.
It's one day. No.
Boom, we're done. Next week, Tuesday, be here, new movie.
Right.
Yeah, it's fast. The beginning of that summer, he and his company began work on another 3-reel feature titled Across the Border. Across the Border was based on the events of the Mexican Revolution, which was taking place at this time in the 1910s.
We just talked about
with Ramon Navarro.
Ramon.
So it was very topical. They often made films about just the events of the time.
I have to admit, I don't know much about the Mexican Revolution.
I thought you went deep into it with Ramon.
Well, we didn't go deep into it. I did an overview of it.
Sure.
But I'd be interested to look into that a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting
historically,
is that the U.S. was first for the dictatorship and then changed and supported the revolution. So in the film Across the Border, the film centers around the gun smuggling taking place at the U.S.-Mexico border at that time.
Oh.
It was directed by Thayer. Thayer directed all those films and also acted in a lot of them as well.
Sure.
Which was common for the time. You were acting, you were directing, you were writing it. This was very, not guerrilla filmmaking, but you're kind of doing everything. Because you're building an industry.
Right. Little did they know what it would turn into.
Well, and the thing,
or did they?
No. The thing about that is they didn't see how film could last throughout decades, or that it would be an important thing later later down the road.
Right.
Which is why so many silent films are lost, because they weren't made with great materials, and they weren't stored properly. Right. So those films got damaged pretty easily, which at the time they were like, that's okay, we're going to shoot another one. You know what I mean?
They didn't really care about, they didn't understand the historical relevance of what it would become.
Exactly.
Which I mean, of course not.
Sure.
You're not going to be, but Thomas Edison was like, this is going to be major.
And I want to be the only one doing it.
I have it all.
So the film, in addition to being directed by Thayer, the cinematography was done by Owen Carter. Owen Carter was from Denver and probably somewhere between 24 and 29 years old in 1914. It's hard to pinpoint his exact age because early 1900s, and I've seen it reported differently in various publications.
Sure.
But it's safe to say he was in his mid-20s and was just getting started in his film career. In 1914, he shot 5 short films within the first half of the year, all of them directed by Otis B. Thayer and all with the Colorado Motion Picture Company.
Got you. Drink time. I lost my straw to my Simply Modern.
No!
I don't know where it went. But luckily, they included this other cap. I can still drink out of it.
Yeah.
But
That's a bummer.
I don't know where they went. I think that Sarah Jessica Parker took them.
Probably.
My kitty, not the actress.
Yeah. What if Sarah Jessica Parker did come in? The actual.
She walks through the back door and you just hear the Sex in the City. Dun, 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 and she like, oh.
She's just out there like stealing things out of your kitchen drawer.
And she's like, I was in this guy's apartment today and I asked myself.
Writing her article.
I needed a straw for my cups.
I love it. So Owen was Thayer's right-hand man, basically. It was just a given that if the movie was produced by the Colorado Motion Picture Company, Owen Carter was the man behind the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to working in film, Owen was a harness maker, which was big business back in the day. As you can imagine, harness makers made more than just harnesses. They made trunks for traveling, leather caps, saddles, seats for the carriage, a variety of leather goods.
Harnesses for animals?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So it was great work if you had that skill. And apparently Owen did. But somewhere along the way, he thought, I don't want to make the saddles that people sit on to ride horses. I want to film the people riding those horses.
There we go. I thought you were going to say, and so he decided to make those little harnesses for gay guys that you see them wear.
I mean, maybe he did. We don't know.
We don't know.
Because of the record keeping. Thus, Owen's cinematography career was born.
Good.
Across the Border starred Edmund Cobb as Texas Rangers Lieutenant Curly Smith.
Curly Smith.
Cobb went on to have a long career in film and TV. Arthur Lewis played Amador, the outlaw chief, and Grace McHugh played Anita, Amador's daughter and love interest to Edmund Cobb's character.
Got you. This
was Grace McHugh's first lead role in a film.
Good for Grace.
McHugh was her stage name. Her given name is listed as Grace Foreman. And according to a 1914 issue of the trade magazine Motion Picture World, Grace had made quite a name for herself in theater prior to acting in film.
Ooh.
Then she got small roles in the movies as she worked her way up to a leading lady. But back then, actors, I might have said this earlier, didn't receive credits for those small roles. So unfortunately, there's no record of any of her other work on camera.
Damn.
In an article in the September 20th, 1914 issue of the Press Democrat, which was a California newspaper, it describes Grace as, quote, young, beautiful, talented, and courageous, a true actress, a conscientious worker, a woman of character and strength.
Ooh.
It sounds like she was pretty popular in the entertainment industry.
She sounds fabulous.
She does. She's particularly popular out west. People said she was really natural on camera, which kind of made them feel a connection with her.
She didn't kiss the letters.
She didn't kiss
the letters. She didn't roll up her sleeves.
She left the sleeves down. And that same article states, quote, her career is an inspiring example of what ability and determination can accomplish.
Good for her.
So she had it going on, it sounds like. And the trade magazine I mentioned earlier. I glitched. And the trade magazine I mentioned earlier, Motion Picture World, said she had recently gone into the field of aeronautics and had, quote, made some exceptional flights for a woman. They could have just ended that sentence and said made some exceptional flights, but, you know, this is back when air travel was in its infancy.
BH delay, girl.
It had only been around for about 10 years at that point because the Wright brothers were 1903, I think. I couldn't find any other articles verifying that she made these flights. But again, early 1900s, record keeping.
That's amazing.
We don't know.
Grace is just like, she finishes filming one day and then she's like, I'm going to go fly my plane.
She's out here acting in movies, flying planes, maybe, and being a bad bitch. In all the articles I read, it stated she was living with her aunt and uncle in Golden, Colorado, which is not far from Denver, and had moved there sometime in 1913. It sounds like she moved there to be closer to the filming taking place in Colorado at that time. I believe she was part of the Selig Company as one of their bit players before joining Otis B. Thayer's company as a leading lady. Have you ever seen Center Stage?
Yes.
Okay, it's like in Center Stage when, like, towards the end, they're finding out if they're going to make it into the American Ballet Company, and Jody tells Peter Gallagher, she's like, if I'm not going to be in the company, I don't want to hear it. And if I do, then I might not have the courage to say no, because I'm not going to be standing in the back waving a rose around. I'm going to be a principal dancer in Cooper Nielsen's new company. Do you remember that scene?
No.
Iconic scene. Oh, my God.
But I love that you just said that monologue.
I mean, that's not the...
You paraphrased it.
That's not the exact words.
Kate's like, I'm going to reenact this. And she stood up and she was
I waved my rose.
She had ballet slippers on for some reason.
Point shoes that I just keep with me in this closet.
Kate and I actually are sitting here wearing our point shoes.
Why not? I imagine that's what Grace said to the Selig Company. Like, thank you for making me the best actor I can be, because the best actor I can be is a leading lady in Otis B. Thayer's new company.
Oh, I love it.
I feel like that's how that went down, verbatim.
Yeah, exactly.
There are varying reports about how old Grace was when she starred in Across the Border. Some say she was around 15 or 16. Others say she was somewhere between 24 and 26.
Okay. Sorry, I was just imagining if you were like, somebody said she was like 75. She's like this like old lady like up in a plane and she's like, film me.
Oh, God. So 15 or 16, 24 to 26.
Okay.
Kind of a wide range there. Given that she'd been working for a while, it seems, and was supposedly out there flying planes, I think she was probably in her mid-20s.
I was going to say, yeah, the 20s seems like she's just a teenage girl. Oh, my God. No, she's in her 20s.
I think she's in her 20s. Yeah. Across the Border was filmed in June of 1914 in Canon City, Colorado, mostly along the Arkansas River, which they were using as the Rio Grande. And filming went according to plan, with the exception of an accident involving a pony. Trigger warning, if you don't want to hear about an animal death, skip ahead maybe 30 seconds.
Boop, 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 boop. I'm skipping forward.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
While shooting a scene along a cliff, a pony lost its footing and fell over the cliff and died. And they did leave that scene in the film.
Oh, my God.
The Board of Censorship initially wanted to cut the scene, but once the production company convinced them the pony died as a result of an accident, the board was like, oh it was
fine.
accidental? Okay, you can leave that in.
Different times.
Aside from that accident, it was a successful shoot. But when they went to develop the film, there was one scene that got damaged. It was a scene where Grace and another actor, John McHugh, crossed the river on horseback. It's a pretty simple scene, and Thayer said, we can get this in one day. We'll just need to reshoot this. It's going to be quick. So he called the cast and crew back on July 1st to reshoot the scene. Around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the actors and crew were in position. Otis was behind the camera, Grace was on her horse, and John McHugh was ahead of her on his horse. McHugh crossed the river first, no problem. Then Grace followed. The water was about 3.5 feet deep, so about waist deep.
Oh.
And where they were crossing was about 125 feet wide. According to witnesses, she got about 30 feet out when her horse stumbled and lost its footing.
Oh, no.
Grace grabbed onto the reins really tight, which made the horse rear back, throwing her into the water.
Oh.
Q sees this happen, and he immediately rode his horse back across the river to help her. At the same time, cameraman Owen Carter runs over and swims out to her. So she's got people coming to her rescue, and it's fairly shallow water, so no one's concerned just yet.
You can stand up in it, right?
Yeah. John Q reaches her first. She was able to grab his hands, but she did it in a way where he couldn't move his hands. Like, she's clutching his
hands.
Like her hands are completely
clasped
around his. So his hands are like this.
Ooh.
I'm demonstrating for Kevin. And he's like, you have to let go so I can get a grip on you. And he's trying to break her hold on him, which he succeeded in doing. But the current was really strong that day.
Shit.
As she loosened her grip, she was swept away downstream.
No.
She was just 5'3" and about 115 pounds, so she didn't really stand a chance against this current.
Yeah.
but Owen is still swimming out toward her. He was considered a good swimmer. He was around 5'11" and about 165 pounds, so he's at least got a little more mass to him to help him withstand the conditions. He had to swim about 320 feet, but he did get to her. Meanwhile, Q rode his horse back to shore. There wasn't really anything else he could do at this point, and Owen had reached her. The cast and crew, including the director Thayer, breathed a sigh of relief, like, whew, he got her. Okay, she's okay. But that relief quickly turned to horror and disbelief when both Owen and Grace disappeared under the water and didn't resurface.
Oh, no.
Both of them drowned that afternoon.
Oh, my God. Because of the current?
Yes. Some reports state that Owen had pulled Grace over to a sandbar, which turned out to be quicksand, and the two were sucked down and, quote, suddenly sank from view. Quicksand doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
These are the same news reports that state Grace was crossing the river in a boat, which capsized. She was not on a boat. She was on horseback. It is possible Owen managed to get the two of them to a sandbar, but the current was so strong that the current still pulled them under. They did not get sucked down by quicksand, but that is a story that is widely reported. Okay. Yeah. Oddly, a lot of the residents didn't believe that the two were dead. They thought it was a marketing ploy by the production company to drum up attention for the film. And even several news outlets speculated that it was all a PR stunt, stating that the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of Owen and Grace were, quote, mysterious. I can see why they thought this, because up until that point, human deaths on a film set
weren't a thing.
Were unheard of. So no one is thinking that this new and exciting industry can be this dangerous. Like, no one is thinking I might lose my life today at work. Like, it just wasn't a thing then. Yeah. Despite initially reporting that the incident was a marketing ploy, news outlets quickly changed their tune when the body of Owen Carter was discovered 5 days later, about a mile from where the drowning occurred. But they still hadn't found Grace.
Oh, no.
In an article in the Fremont County Leader published on July 9th, it states, quote, no trace has yet been found of the body of Miss McHugh, which may not be recovered for months and maybe not at all, for the Arkansas River is reluctant in giving up its victims.
Yikes. That's an ominous statement.
Yeah. Grace's body was eventually found 12 days after the accident and 9 miles from the scene.
Oh, my God.
She was identified by her cowgirl outfit and riding boots.
Oh, no. Oh.
Despite the deaths of its star and cameraman, the movie was released the following month in August.
They still released it?
Oh. Newspapers reported that the production company actually released the film early to try and capitalize on all the press surrounding it, which does sound like something that probably happened. The company insisted the film would be, quote, a fitting tribute to Grace.
Ew, I don't like that.
Yeah. Ads were placed in news outlets that read, quote, Grace McHugh in Across the Border, the production of which the beautiful and daring heroine lost her life. So they're
capitalizing
using
on it.
Her
death.
I
don't love that.
For whatever reason, the death of Owen wasn't reported on as much. And when it was, they sometimes didn't mention his name or they'd fail to mention that he died trying to save her.
To save her, yeah.
Thayer did publicly state that Owen swam out to help Grace, quote, of his own free will and without any suggestion from myself or anyone else. And I do think that's the case, because witnesses say Owen saw she was in trouble and immediately just abandoned the camera equipment and went out there. But it also sounds like Thayer is trying to cover his ass a little bit. Like, I didn't tell him to go. He just went. It was his idea. Maybe not, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it does seem like he was trying to just kind of cover the bases there.
I see.
However, in August, around the time of the release of the film, Thayer wrote to the Carnegie Hero Fund Commission on behalf of Owen. The fund was established in 1904 by Andrew Carnegie to recognize civilians who perform heroic acts, more specifically, people who voluntarily risk death or serious injury to save the life of another. And if you're recognized by the commission, you are awarded the Carnegie Medal. And you're eligible to receive financial support, or if the recipient passes away, your family is eligible for the financial support. Thayer wrote to the commission stating, quote, I am free to say that I never saw greater heroism displayed by anyone than was displayed by Mr. Carter in this instance. He was taking his life in his hands and attempting to go across the swift current of the river. And it certainly looked to me when I saw him last that he would succeed in making the rescue, but unfortunately he lost his life in his effort. It took several years for the commission to gather all the information they needed, but finally, in January of 1920, Owen Carter was recognized posthumously as a Carnegie Hero.
Oh, well, that's something. Yeah, that's nice.
By this point, his wife, because he had been married, she had remarried, so they gave his medal to his mom, Selena Shannon.
Oh, nice.
She wrote the commission a handwritten thank you letter, which is like such a mom sweet thing to do, saying that the medal was something she would always keep and would always be a reminder that her boy was not a coward. The Colorado Motion Picture Company stuck around Canon City for a few months, but by the fall of that year, they went out of business. Some records state that Grace's family sued the company, forcing it into bankruptcy, but others state that there's no evidence a lawsuit was ever filed.
Okay.
So we don't really know.
Yeah, you'd think you'd be able to find some kind of... But then again, record keeping in that time is fucked.
It was early times. Could also have been something where the studio just paid to be like, okay, let's make this go away.
Hush money.
So we don't know. The more likely reason the company didn't last is that Southern California was becoming the prime destination for film shoots. In Colorado, film crews could shoot in the spring and summer, but of course, once the cold set in and the snow came, they had to stop working. And the demand was growing for more films, longer films, and in sunny Southern California, you can shoot year-round. Thus, Hollywood quickly took over the film industry.
Yep.
Across the Border is considered a lost film. As we've talked about before, a lot of those old silent films weren't made to last. So unfortunately, there's no record we can look at of Grace's leading lady debut or of Owen's camera work. However, there are a few photos that exist from the set.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're in the links that I'm going to have on the show notes.
Okay.
You can if you go to our link from, I think it's called Lost Wiki. I can look it up right now.
So this, you can't find this film anymore, just some shots.
No, it's gone,
Okay.
We have a link called Across the Border from Lost Media Wiki. If you go to that one, there's several photos in there you can check out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's something.
Yeah. And I should say, I said that there's no evidence of Owen's camera work. He did shoot a film with the company called Pirates of the Plains, and that did survive. It's the only film from the Colorado Motion Picture Company that survived. It is still in existence, so his work is
he's still out
shown there. Yeah. In 2017, two men, Gary Shue and Tony Ortega, wrote a song about the death of Grace McHugh titled Voices in the Water, which I'll link. And a resident of Canon City, Mrs. A.W. Lloyd, wrote an undated poem honoring Owen Carter for his rescue attempt, which is kept with his files at the Carnegie Hero Fund.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
I couldn't find where Owen is buried, but Grace is buried at Golden Cemetery in Golden, Colorado.
Okay.
And that is the story of the tragic deaths on the set of Across the Border.
That is fascinating and also horrifying.
And I'm surprised. I had never heard of this before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that poor pony.
I know. And sadly, I have a feeling plenty of animals had passed on set before that.
Oh, 100%.
Because, I mean, just the way they use those animals and the conditions, I shouldn't say plenty of them because, again, the industry was still so new, but yeah, it wasn't.
Well, yeah, no one's kind of thinking of safety standards.
Exactly. It wasn't an uncommon thing, I should say.
Well, even today, though, like, that's the thing. Like, we talk about these things and it still happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stuff that shouldn't happen,
yeah.
you know?
It's a dangerous business.
Pay attention.
Eek.
Maybe don't ride a horse through a river.
Well, what was that was her role.
I know. No, I know. It's not her fault. It's the, production. No one was thinking that it would be that dangerous.
Yeah.
So that's tragic. And I'm sorry that it happened.
Let us know what you thought of this episode. You can let us know in the comments on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at
Horrorwood. Sorry, I was about to yawn. At Horrorwood Podcast.
Or send us an email at
horrorwoodpodcast@gmail.com.
Gmail. And you can also be like Charity or Karen and hop on over to Patreon at
patreon.com/horrorwoodpodcast.
And don't roll your sleeves up if you're acting on camera.
Don't roll your sleeves up. Don't kiss a letter.
Don't kiss a letter. Don't look at the camera.
Don't look at the camera. Don't act a fool.
Don't act a fool.
And be natural.
Yeah, be natural. Go.
Action.
And don't do murder, but that's a given.
Yeah. Well, and don't put people in bad situations.
Yeah, don't do it. Think we covered it?
I think we got it. I think they get it.